Good morning, everyone. Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, the morning after the game before. And what a game it was. It's been a while since I've been on here singing some players' praises, as a matter of fact. It's been a long time, too long. And I'm going to do that today. I'm going to give credit where credit's due and praise the players, because it's something I've been looking for so long. And that's all we ask as West Ham fans, fight for the shirt. And that's what I see a lot of players doing yesterday. Listen, there's still holes to pick in a performance. The first 10 minutes was as shocking as it's been all season, to be honest with you. But the remaining 80 after that, we was very, very unlucky not to win the game against the league leaders, the teams that have been blowing, the team that have been blowing teams out of the water in Arsenal. And we showed some fight, some resilience. It took us a little while, and we need to work on them slow starts, because, we've got a couple of big games coming up, starting this Sunday against Bournemouth. And but a point coming from 2-0 down against the league leaders, as I say, and we probably should have gone on and won the game. But you don't want to be too greedy, because what the players showed after the first 10 minutes was fantastic. And this, I called on it as well in the build up to the game. We need the spirit of last season, and that's exactly what it was. It was the spirit of last season. It was, remembering we can play, we can press, we can put it up amongst them. Antonio was fantastic, running the line. He was causing all sorts of problems. Bowen was back to his best, and what a fantastic finish from him. There was players that struggled in the first sort of 20 minutes. Lucas Paqueta, he'd give the ball away so many times, he nearly cost us a goal in the second half. But, we'll forgive him for that one. But, once that first 20 minutes was over and done with, he was pulling the strings. You hear so many, all of a sudden they found their voice after 6 years. But all of a sudden, Arsenal fans are piping up how they're going to, they're going to come here and they're going to destroy us. And look, we're West Ham fans, we know our team, and I thought the same thing. But, somehow, from somewhere, we pulled a little bit of spirit. We showed a little bit of talent. I thought Declan Rice was immense in the middle of the park. They took, I've had an ongoing battle with Arsenal fans about, him and Thomas Partey. Who's Thomas Partey? He was nowhere to be seen. Declan Rice was running rings around him, and so was Lucas Paqueta in the end. But, there is still faults. There are still faults in the performance, but, you can't. You can never. I can forgive lack of talent. I can't forgive lack of effort. And that was effort. That was effort. That was determination. That was grit. That was belief. Something that we ain't seen in a long time. And if I was to pick out a hole in a management performance, I looked at the starting lineup and we was a little bit forced into that. But I think that's where Moyes comes into his own, when he's forced into picking lineups. When he's got choice, he seems to struggle. I think, Antonio was the obvious choice, because he always seems to, turn it up against Arsenal. The defence sort of picked his stealth because of injuries to Aguero and Ogbonna. So Kera had to play. I thought he had an excellent game. Soufal was unbelievable. And I love that from Soufal. He's not found himself in the team of late, which is a bit bemusing, if I'm honest, because if you want, heart, determination, passion, he's the one. But once that opening 20 minutes went, we was nearly flawless. Penalty, there's a bit of a question in the build-up whether it come off Declan's hand, but they didn't give it, and we needed a rub of the green, and sometimes you do need the rub of the green. That got us right back in the game, and once that penalty went in, you could feel the place. Arsenal just before that were singing, "Are you Tottenham in disguise?" We got the penalty, and it became them who become Tottenham in disguise. And I'm trying not to disrespect Tottenham. Tottenham got their own problems, and we've got our own. But they shit the bed a little bit, Arsenal, which is good for us. And it's just a relief to come here, after a couple of positive results. I know the Newcastle one in between the Southampton game and the Fulham game was a hard pill to swallow. It was individual mistakes that night. I thought, we did show some heart and determination in that game, but we gave up because of individual mistakes. And, it showed how frail it is this season. But, this showed, for once, our strengths, and that's what we've got. We have got players that can play, you know, given a little bit of freedom, you know, and they're a team that play in their hands because, you know, they're going for the title, obviously, and they're going to give us a little bit more room to play. And we did play, and it's good to see. It's refreshing to see. And the most important thing about that weekend was it's given the whole crowd a little glimpse that there is still hope. There is still fight. You know, we're still grinding out the results against Southampton and Fulham. It's great, but you know, it doesn't give you much hope in the big games. And now, even though we've got big games coming up, we've got Liverpool, we've got Man United, we've got Manchester City. You know, that result yesterday gives you a little bit to hold on to, thinking, yeah, maybe, just maybe. You know, when you're seeing the likes of Southampton picking up big wins, and, you know, Everton picked up a win against Arsenal earlier on in the season, you just start to think, yeah, I think we're going to be okay, which is a relief. There's still a lot of work to do, and we need to see that fight again, which we haven't. You know, that's been one of our problems, consistency. But for once, it's a positive morning after the game before, and hopefully we'll be okay, and we can reset again in the end of the season and see where we are. But thank you very much for joining us. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're going to have a great week. We'll be building up towards the Ghent game on Thursday. One thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.